Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today we're having a look at yet another wonderful mod, this time in the form of North American Rockwell Mars Excursion Module, which is being made by forum user Tick Dreaming, and what this glorious little piece of work is looking to add into the game is all the parts necessary for you to recreate the Mars Excursion Module here in Kerbal Space Program, and that is just wonderful. Now, if you don't know what the Mars Excursion Module is, or MEM for short, it was originally designed by North American Rockwell way back in the late 60s as sort of a template for a theoretical mission to Mars, and it became actually very, very iconic and used for decades for planning potential manned missions to the Red Planet. And so, frankly, I'm surprised I haven't seen a mod bring it into the game up until now, and I'm pretty ecstatic to see it in here, so let's just jump right on into the VAB and take a look at the currently 14 parts that make up this mod. Now, there will be more to come. I know that I was reading on the forum just earlier that the next update should have a docking port, but for now we have 14 parts. Of course, we need to start with a command pod, so we have the North Kerbin Rockwell Mars Excursion Module Ascent Module. Oh boy, kind of a long name there, takes up quite a lot of space, and is very, very unique looking. Now, I'm gonna kind of ignore the texturing for now. I'm hoping that this texturing is temporary, because I do really need to point out right off the bat, this is very much a work in progress of a mod. In fact, there are a few parts that don't quite work yet that are in here at the moment, so take it all with a grain of salt, but still, even at this stage, it's very, very cool. And, well, as for the modeling, though, modeling on it is gorgeous. I just love the look of everything, and it very, very much sticks with the MEM sort of design very nicely, which is quite cool. Now, as for the statistics on this thing, if I can pronounce that word correctly, it is a command pod, of course, that can carry a crew capacity of up to 4, minimum of 1. It has built-in RCS, as you can see by these RCS thrusters around it. It also does have a pretty good reaction wheel, a resource converter that will turn liquid fuel and oxidizer into electric charge, and does have a sizable battery at 250, also carries 34 liquid fuel, 15 monopropellant, and 41.6 oxidizer. Overall, pretty nice little thing. I do like the addition of the resource converter in here, because, you know, just in case you forget power, you can always at least live for a little bit longer off of your fuel. Now, the next things we have here is in fuel tanks, where we'll find 2 different parts. I'm not really going in any specific order for how you would actually build this thing. I'll show off a completed one here momentarily. But in here we have an MEM descent fuel tank, which goes in the sort of bottom descent stage for this. And it's a very, very cool looking little thing. If we pop it up there and get a little zoom in, again, the modeling, beautiful. Texturing, could still use a little work. You know me, I like stock alike things, so I would prefer to be a bit more of that, but I'm hoping it improves in the future. But as for the stats on the tank, it does carry 19.4 liquid fuel and 23.8 oxidizer in each of these, and you'll put multiples of them on your descent stage. Now, the next bit we have here is the MEM ascent stage, which is when you actually launch this whole little ascent stage module back up into space, and you'll attach multiples of these onto these attachment points along the side, which are one of the slightly finicky things, because of course it's just so many different attachment points so close together, it can kind of be difficult to get it in the right one that you want, but overall, with a little bit of work, it should fit in quite nicely. Again, very, very good modeling. Also quite, bland on the texturing. At least it's not weird, it's just flat of a texture. And it also does decouple. So once you get quite up into space, you need to drop some weight and you're, about back to your main mission vehicle to get your way back to home, you can drop these off. They will decouple with an ejection force of 5, and each fuel tank holds 64 liquid fuel and 78 oxidizer. Now, the next parts are in engine, where we're going to find the 2 engines for this mod. If we scroll down here to pop them on, we have the ascent stage, which does actually go right there on that attachment point. It's actually quite a really cool little designed engine. Again, the texturing, not the greatest, but the modeling on it, quite beautiful. I love the detailing on the inside. Very, very cool. Now, the next engine we have, we actually just chuck that one off, is the larger descent stage, which will go on the bottom of the overall craft and provide you with a lot more power for you to actually successfully land on Duna. And again, similar modeling to it and similar texturing. Very cool overall. Now, as for the stats on these things, the Ascent engine does do, of course, 5 electrocharge per second, and has a thrust of 14.159 atmosphere and 16.6 in vacuum, with 250 ASL ISP and 340 vacuum ISP. And finally, the liquid fuel at 0.448 per second, 0.548 per second on the oxidizer, so overall doesn't use a whole lot of fuel, very, very efficient, which is always a good thing. Now, the descent stage uses a bit more because it needs that extra power to land you safely, but it will produce a lot more electricity at 12 per second, and it has an atmospheric thrust of 66.188 and vacuum of 77.6, and an engine ISP in atmosphere of 290, 340 vacuum, and will consume 2.095 liquid fuel per second and 2.56 oxidizer per second, so uses a lot more fuel, but also has a good deal more thrust. So a good little engine overall. Let's zoom out a bit and head down to nothing in command and control, and then to structural, where we'll find this one part here, which is, well, actually we have 2 parts in here, but one of them's kind of broken. And actually, this is kind of broken too. Now this goes, oh, actually I should probably put the engine on because it does fit over the engine. So there we go, that is our Ascent engine, and then this is supposed to attach to there and function as a decoupler, decoupling this top Ascent stage from our bottom Descent stage. But not only is it very finicky to actually get on this thing and attach, it takes me a while to get it. It's like you just gotta be in just the right spot, even when holding down Alt to get it to actually attach. But also, when you're actually using this thing, it doesn't always decouple. I've been running into this problem while testing this. It has a tendency to get stuck after it decouples. Right now, it's about 1 in 5 attempts it will actually successfully decouple. All the other times, it doesn't, which is a little bit of a problem for a decoupler. Hopefully that will get fixed in the future, but for now, that is something to remember. Perhaps for the time being, you may want to just throw on a Sepratron or something like that onto these to be safe. Now, we also do have another part in here, which is the thingy. I have no idea what this thing's for, and I'm pretty confident that it's a broken part at the moment, because look at that. Even if I put it into the world, it's curved and angled, and it doesn't have proper texturing. It's kind of got this weird pinkish purpley color to it. I don't know what it's supposed to do. It's apparently a decoupler that was originally designed to move buildings, blah, 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 but I think it was a test part that made it into the release, so ignore that one for now. Then, down in aerodynamics, we will find a couple of pieces here. The first of which, if we zoom out, is the MEM base, and this is the, oh boy, it's a big thing. It's a very, very big thing. And this, of course, is the base of the whole design. It does, as you can see, have its own RCS engines as well. And the Ascent module just fits snugly right in here. And you've got just a whole lot of stuff going on. It is, of course, a heat shield, so it will protect your ship coming down to Duna, and all quite good. Now, as for its stats, RCS thrusters, as I did mention, it is an ablator, and it does hold its own monopropellant of 15. Not a whole lot, but it should serve you well enough for the time being. Now, you may also notice, if we zoom in here a bit, we also have these little stairs right here. This is for your Kerbals to get up and down. It's finicky. Again, kind of finicky. But it works, which also, this should give you an idea of the scale of this thing. That's the stairs. This is how big this thing is. Those stairs fit a Kerbal. So, yeah, this thing is pretty freaking gigantic, but overall pretty cool. So, yes, a very good base. Again, a beautiful texture, or beautiful modeling, rather, and kind of weird texturing, but hope it will change. We then have, ooh, actually, I should point out something while we're here. Remember this fuel tank right here? That, of course, doesn't go there. That will be where the new docking port goes eventually. It goes down here on these little things. So yes, you have all these attachment points to hook your fuel up for your mission, and it's all good. Now the next part is the heat shield to go on the outside, so we have some nice fairings, which just, oh god, if I'd actually attach them correctly. There we go. Oh no, wrong way to rotate. Excellent, there we go. So you have a nice heat shield for when you're actually going into space on your rocket, so always good to have. And of course, these do have built-in decoupler ejection force of 50, so you don't really have to worry about things. Let's actually remove these so we can see stuff. And then go to the next page, where we'll find a final heat shield down here. Now, at the bottom, that right here is where that descent stage engine would go, and then this heat shield goes over it to protect that engine. Oh god, I should probably grab the engine to show it properly. And there we go. And then the heat shield attaches to the engine. Come on! It's trying to go to all these other attachment points, which is very annoying. God. Oh boy, I really do hate how this game works sometimes, but it doesn't help when there's all these freaking attachment points. It just wants to go to every other one. Okay, we'll come back to the heat shield. Let's press it there, because of course these attachment points will go away momentarily, as we need to go down to utility now and grab the landing legs. Alright, that's what go into these particular ones here. So let's do that. Beautiful, excellent, and we have our lander legs, which we can retract. They're not the... let me rephrase that. They are a very simple landing leg. They don't really, extend out and animate like, say, the normal landing legs do. They are just literally parts of the heat shield that just kind of get pushed down. But they're functional and work quite nicely and have, of course, ablator so that they are protected from the heat. Okay, now let's grab this heat shield here. And we should be able to put it on the... Oh god, we still can't because of all of these in here! So many attachment points! It is quite annoying. Okay, maybe if I angle this way... No, it's still not wanting to cooperate. You know what? You guys can imagine. Imagine a heat shield here. There we go, I'm getting annoyed by it. It's all these darn attachment points. It becomes a pain. Now we then do also have two other parts in here, an MEM balut and an MEM chute, or a drudge chute rather. Now the drudge chute is for when you've just come into the atmosphere. This will start slowing down your craft, and then the balut will be used after the drudge chute to sort of slow you down a bit more before you end up using your big descent engine. And then finally, the last piece that we do have is under the Science tab, and that is a mobile processing lab for the MEM, and that attaches to that weird pipe there. Now, we do have a slight glitch. Actually, I just thought about something. Hold on a moment. Maybe the thingy goes here. Oh my god, it does! I was trying to figure out what this thing was for ages earlier, and it goes there. Oh, that makes sense now. And then the mobile processing lab goes here, and everyone's happy. Now, it's not exactly attached right there, because again, finicky attachment points. But yes, there we go. I can't believe I just realized that. Never mind about what I said about the thingy. With that name, I thought it was just not finished yet. Who knows? Or who knew, rather. But yes, there we go. We have the mobile processing unit right in here, which is a good place for your Kerbals to enter and exit the craft from, and then, of course, go down the stairs. And they can walk down this landing leg right here to actually then make it onto the surface of Duna. And yes, that is all the parts. Now, I, of course, have gone and made my own full craft of it, which is... There we are. Excellent. Load that baby up. And now, of course, I don't have the thingy on there, so my mobile processing lab is just kind of floating there in space, but oh well, it's all functional. And now you can actually see that heat shield right at the bottom here. See, it works, it fits, and it protects your engine from the deadly, deadly reheat of the entry. or re-entry. Bad way to phrase that. And if we open it up, you can see that I've got multiples of the tanks. Now, I could fit many, many more of them in here, and you actually probably should, so you have enough fuel to actually take off or land on Duna. But since I'm not doing a proper mission, I figured just throw on a couple of tanks. So let's go see this thing in its natural environment, I guess you would call it. Our Mars duplicate in this world of Duna. So let's go to the tracking station where I have one of these landed on the planet already. And of course we will do a quick hyper edit to put it way back up in the air so you can see the parachute and the balut, both of which are quite wonderfully modeled. Again, beautiful modeling on all of the parts for this thing. It's just the texturing that kind of weirds me out on a good deal of it. But yes, here we are. We have our stage, which typically would be attached to a rocket to launch into space, because of course you wouldn't land with this heat shield steel on here. And as for the interior of the actual module, we do have one, but it's a placeholder. It's just the Mark 1-2 command pod for the time being. Hopefully that will change in the future and we'll actually get a proper IVA, but for now it's just at least using that placeholder. Now let's pop this thing way, way up into the air and play around with it a bit. Let's just go up to like 1,000 meters. Yeah, that should be fine. Ah, what the hell, 10,000. There we go, excellent. And now we're in freefall. Oh, actually, no, we're not yet. There we go. Now that I've unclicked that, now we're in freefall. So let us go and actually turn off the UI real quick so we can get a better look at things. And then take apart that. There we are. We see our lovely, lovely lander in all of its glory, which is pretty cool, with the lovely Duna horizon on the background. Very nice indeed. I just hope that those parts don't eventually fall on my head in the future, but oh well. Now let us release the first chute. There we are. And I really do like the look of the chute. Again, modeling-wise, I like that it isn't just purely a normal chute. It's got sort of that gap in the middle with the extra fabric down at the bottom. There's a purpose for that, but I don't know enough about parachutes to know why. But yes, a very, very cool little parachute for us, or drudge chute, rather, or drogue chute. I never know how to pronounce that thing. And, okay, let's turn on the UI real quick here, and we're just going to cut that. Got it, there we go, and release the balut. And again, turn off the UI, and there is our glorious, glorious balut, which will slow us down even more, because of course that chute we were using was really intended for higher up in the atmosphere, and then this lower in the atmosphere to slow you down more, which is always a good thing. And again, just such a cool looking design to the thing. Very, very unique compared to other baluts we've looked at in this series. And then, of course, finally, if we cut that thing... Oh, cut that too. We have our final... If we drop the heat shield... There we go, it launched. We then have our engine. There we are, which we could use to land all the way on the planet. Or, of course... Oh god, let's see if this decoupler works here. Nope, it's stuck again. See, it kind of gets finicky and gets stuck in things sometimes. But oh well, let's start the other engine. And normally the ascent stage would then release the top module and we'd be able to be flying back up into the orbit of the planet. But for now, we're just going to spin uncontrollably. Oh, okay, messing up words even more today. But yes, let's load the last quick save, which should be where we left off on the planet. There we are. And let's just release those things. Oh god, they need to move a little bit more. I wanted to get a Kerbal out real quick. Okay, what we're gonna have to do is land like 25 meters. There we go. Now we've lost our package. It's on the ground now, which is probably gonna be interesting for landing, but oh well, we'll be fine. There we are, get a little bit close to the ground. We'll just probably scrape those fairings a little bit out of the way. Should work. Maybe. Or we'll explode. We're gonna explode. Well, that didn't go how I had hoped at all. 5 meters? Oh god, oh god, oh god. Rotate, rotate, other way! Okay, we've landed. Alright, alright. Transfer some crew. Oop. Jebediah to here. Lovely. And then let's get him out of the crew hatch. Uh-oh. Oh, it's obstructed. I've broken it. I have a feeling it's because of that fairing being so close. Normally, yes, you'd be able to get out there, then you could walk down the stairs here, and you'd be good to go. Let's actually see if I can get one of them to just pop out. Yes, at a horrible, horrible place. Right at the pipe. Lovely. Excellent. So there we go. You can see the size of this thing in comparison to our Kerbals. So actually, I guess the stairs may be a little bit small, but oh well, they work well enough. But yeah, that is the North American Rockwell Mars Excursion Module. If you'd like to give it a download for yourself, you can take a look at the link in the description, as always, and I definitely say to go and give it a try. It's a whole lot of really cool parts that even if you don't want to build the full MEM, you can still use them for quite cool little things. Like, I love these fuel tanks here. This actual just ascent lander, or module rather, is quite cool on its own. Very good parts, very well made. If only they'd work more on the texturing, but that is just my wee little opinion. But yeah, that is going to be it for this episode, folks. I hope you all have enjoyed, and of course that you do come back for the next. But until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one!